And with that, Nick Wright joining me. I had to make tough decisions, Nick.
Yeah, that was good. I liked that. Here, so can I don't know if they can throw it back on the screen.
Yeah.
But I don't really have a quibble, except I think the Rams are going to be terrible, but that's neither here nor there. I think they could be one of the worst teams in the league this year. But what you didn't replace was any of the top 6 teams, like the favorites. The Eagles, Niners, Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, the 6 best teams from last season, the regular season, that if you were to have to pick one of those 6, to me, and you probably know who it is, I have an easy pick.
Yeah.
I think, like, if there is a shocking, wow, that team fell off of the top 6, to me, there's a lot of warning signs in Buffalo, from Leslie Frazier's departure to Josh Allen's late season regression without Daboll to obviously the concern with Stephon Diggs and their inability, even with Diggs, to acquire a number 2 receiver. I can't see, barring horrible injury luck, any of the other teams missing the playoffs entirely of those top 6. I think if there was a shocker, it would be Buffalo, which then maybe could open the door up for Aaron and the Jets, or maybe the Ravens as a wild card team, something like that.
Yeah, no, I have Miami winning the division. Listening to you and others, I think there is regression. I think Miami, I had somebody in the league tell me this, that Vic Fangio is going to be a significant upgrade, not just Jalen Ramsey, that many people in the league are now copying Vic Fangio's defense, and that if Tua is healthy, they're going to be a bit of a buzzsaw. You remember last year, they were early. Before Tua had some injury issues, they were a buzzsaw. I also think the NFC is weaker than the AFC, so I think there'll be more disruption. We can put that up again. I mean, I'm throwing it out there with Carolina. That's my shocking team, because I actually think their defense in that division's really good.
I don't think that's crazy. I think they could win that division. I don't think that's insane, Colin. I mean, I think they win 7 games last year with a disastrous quarterback situation. I don't believe in the Saints, mostly because of their coach, and I don't think they're a particularly forward-thinking team. I think Carr's fine. You mentioned Vic Fangio to go to the AFC just quickly again. This is maybe more for fantasy players or for people that gamble on player props. I'm really interested in all of the AFC East quarterbacks, what their season-long stats will be when they have 6 games against those corners in that division. Think about it. Miami added Jalen Ramsey, already had Xavier Howard. The Patriots' strength is their secondary every single year. The Bills now have Trey White and their first-round pick from a year ago, Trey White fully removed from the injury. And the Jets obviously have Sauce Gardner and another young corner. Like, you might have the best 4 of the best 7 secondaries in the NFL might be the 4 AFC East teams. So I'm really fascinated into, with all those quarterbacks plus Mac Jones in that division, how much success they actually have when you're going in those interdivisional games. So I think that's one of the things to watch.
Let's pivot. I'll get to Dame in a second. I said yesterday I thought the Lakers, it was GM 101ing to move off Westbrook, to retain Rui and Reeves. I like Jackson Hayes' size. Give AD, when he's out, some size, rim protection. Gabe Vincent, I don't like that Miami moved off him, but they're trying to clear space for Dame. I think Miami really likes Gabe Vincent, but they're going to have Dame. I thought the Lakers, I mean, again, I don't think it's revolutionary. It still depends on LeBron's health. But I thought it was a darn good offseason. What say you?
So, 100%. I think that they had the best offseason pending the Dame trade of anyone. And I think it is noteworthy that the only team in the Western Conference clearly better than them last year in Denver had a tough offseason. Now, this happens when you win the championship, but they were unable to add anyone, and they lose their 5th most important player in Bruce Brown and their 8th most important player in Jeff Green. So they take a minor step back, and the Lakers take maybe a step and a half forward. Here is what I know about the Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. When the team makes sense, they're awesome. In 2020, They had a team that made sense. They were the 1 seed all year and then rolled to a championship. In 2021, they brought that same group back with a few minor tweaks. They were the 2 seed the night that Solomon Hill fell into LeBron's ankle and knocked him out essentially for the year. Last year, post-deadline, they had a team that made sense. They went 18-8, the best record in the West over that portion of the regular season, and made the conference finals. They once again have a team that makes sense. You don't need a 3rd star. Yes, of course, LeBron's going to be in year 21 and is turning 39, and Anthony Davis has a long injury history. Of course, if either one of those guys is injured for a massive portion of the season or at the end of the season, they're screwed. But if those 2 guys stay healthy, this is unequivocally a team that can compete for a championship, because LeBron and AD are still 2 of the 10 best players in the league, and now you have the right types of personnel around them.
So listen, I hope Dame goes to Miami. It's good for him. It's good for the league. But I do think Portland has to be loyal to Portland. They've paid him $233 million. He'll end up at $450 million. And they got 5 first-round exits, 3 missed the playoffs, and he's been banged up the last couple of years. He was paid. They love him. But Portland's got to take care of Portland. And if San Antonio's got the best package, I'd send him there. There is this sense in the NBA that if you, and I said this earlier in the show about LeBron, there's this sense in the NBA that if you don't send a player to a decent place, they'll hold it against you. And it'll be bad for your franchise. My takeaway is, and I gave a list of players that have won titles in the last 30 years, and they were all drafted and developed by their team. They weren't trade guys or free agent guys. From Akeem to Isaiah to Kobe to Magic, here they are. Jordan, sure. Magic, Wade, Tom. That's how you win championships. LeBron's the outlier. He bounces around and saves your franchise.
Sure.
Even the Warriors won pre-KD, with KD, post-KD. I don't think Portland owes Dame anything, although I do think they'd like to send him to the other conference. But where do you fall on, hey, well, you got to take care of the player. My thing is, come on, guys, you paid him $450 million potentially.
So what I think teams should do or shouldn't do is less relevant to what teams actually do. And they send guys exactly where they want to go. Dwight Howard, where'd he want to end up when he was leaving Orlando? The Lakers. Where'd he end up? The Lakers. Carmelo Anthony wanted to be a Knick. Where did he end up? The Knicks. Anthony Davis wanted to be a Laker. He ended up a Laker. James Harden quit on his team, wanted to be a Net or a Sixer. He quit on the other team and got to be on both of those teams. Kevin Durant demanded a trade, demanded the coach be fired, demanded the GM be fired, then laid down his sword, and then 3 months later demanded a trade again, and they didn't even hold an auction. They were like, it's Phoenix, no problem. Bradley Beal says, well, my agent's kid runs the Suns. I'd like to go there, and I have no trade. He got there. Everybody gets to go where they want to go. That is the history of this league. We can argue it should change. They shouldn't do it. Put your foot down. You make that argument till you're blue in the face. Superstars like Damian Lillard, who are essentially the tenured professors of the NBA, guys who have been somewhere long enough and built up enough equity, they simply don't get screwed. Oddly enough, Colin, the only time guys get screwed is when they don't demand the trade. Blake Griffin never wanted to be traded and then got shipped to Detroit. He was trying to start a comedy career in Los Angeles, signed a new contract. They're like, nope, Detroit. Donovan Mitchell, even after the Rudy Gobert trade, did not demand a trade, and they traded him to Cleveland. Now, that didn't screw him, but he obviously, it would appear, preferred New York. When the players take it on themselves to put their foot down and demand a trade, they almost always get what they want. And in large part, that is also because there is there's a chilling effect on the market. If you're Boston, Are you offering Jaylen Brown when Damian Lillard is making it known to anyone and everyone seemingly through, friends of his or people that he talks to in the media, he does not want to be there? Do you want to sign up for, one of the faces of your franchise not wanting to be there? Typically not. So, yeah, I think this ends in Miami, and for 3 weeks I've been saying I think this ends in Miami. It might take some time, but I think that's where it ends.
I said earlier, NBA and NFL coaches, the legends, Red Auerbach, Don Shula, Belichick, Walsh, Phil Jackson, usually somewhere in their 40s or their coaching prime, they land a legend, Popovich, Duncan. And at that point, they become legends, and then 60, 70, maybe they get old. Andy Reid's different. He was really good, but didn't get Mahomes until year 19. Belichick got Brady in year 6. And I believe if Andy, health permitting, coaches 6 more years, 6, and wins 2 titles, though he won't have as many as Bill, his
you're
coaching,
speaking my language now.
Coaching tree will be better, not tied to one player, progressive, where the league is headed, that we will look at Andy and go, he was the better coach. He won 60% of his games pre-Mahomes. And Andy just didn't get his guy, unlike the Shulas, Popovich's, Belichick. He didn't get him until year 19.
Right, and pre-Mahomes was still in, 5 conference title games, won a bunch of divisions, was always good. So you said 2 more titles. So that would put him at 4. Belichick's at 6. Colin, I'm a big believer across sports that even if the alleged GOAT has 6 rings, once you get to 4 rings, you can overtake him, even if you don't quite get to counting the rings. That could be for best basketball player or best NFL coach. You can pick your poison there. Here's what I truly believe. I truly believe Bill Belichick has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt he is the greatest defensive mind in NFL history. I know we don't count this on his head coaching resume, but the defense that he designed to shut down Thurman Thomas and Jim Kelly and Andre Reed and the Bills in that Super Bowl for the New York Giants, and then the defense he designed to shut down the greatest show on turf for his first Super Bowl at New England, and then the defense that he designed to shut down McVay and Todd Gurley and that Rams offense in his last Super Bowl in New England. Those things are one of a kind, unique to Belichick. But Andy is building out a resume from his success, forget Mahomes, with Nick Foles and Alex Smith and aging Donovan and our dear friend Mike Vick, who I thought never played the position better than after he got in trouble and had to step away from the league for 2 years and then got with Andy in Philadelphia. He is building the resume of the greatest offensive mind of all time. And if he wins at a crazy level, where football is headed, Colin, what's more valuable? The best defensive mind or the best offensive mind? What's more valuable, the best defensive player or the best offensive player? There's no question. So he has a ways to go, but you are correct, and you, to your credit, have been saying this for the better part of 18 months. The door is open for Andy to make that a very real discussion, and particularly when the Chiefs become the first team ever to win 3 straight Super Bowls, which they're about to do here in the next 18 months. So that'll make it easier.
Finally, I saw a story I led with this morning that I saw the Sports Illustrated said, this is the year that Dak has got to get over the hump. And I said, I got 3 years of college, 7 years as a pro. We don't say that with Kirk Cousins. We know what Kirk is. Kirk is Dak without the star on the helmet. And if you go to stats that we judge quarterbacks on,
almost identical.
I mean, it's not even,
you
could almost take the almost out. I mean, the completion percentage, identical. Passer rating, identical.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know they were that identical.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Dak has mostly had better O-lines. I think Kirk Cousins, take out last year's, had sometimes better defenses. But they've mostly both had competent coaches. And my takeaway is nobody is asking this year, Cousins needs to get over the hump. We're just not realistic with Dak. It's like
but that cuts both ways, Colin. Nobody's asking Kirk Cousins to be their sleep number salesman either, right? Like, I mean, Dak. There is some unfair, and maybe he is actually. I don't know, but Dak seems to have a lot of commercials compared to his, achievements. And Dak's a good player.
Yeah.
And I think he is. I would if it were my team, I would rather have Dak than Kirk. Yeah. But I think they are the 11th and 12th best quarterbacks in football, or the 10th. They are right there.
Yep.
But so it is part of the star on the helmet, the Cowboys quarterback. You get extra scrutiny. You deal with some extra nonsense, extra pressure. But it also, you are one of the faces of the league, even though this team has not played in a conference title game in almost 30 years now. And so I think that's just how it comes. I know we're late. Can I just say one thing real quick before we go?
Plenty of time, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is the 4th of July. It's not like you got a lot of stuff to break down. I've referenced this on your show before, but I want to do it again. 7 years ago today was the 4th of July, 2016, which in the sports world is the day Durant went to the Warriors. Yes. Kind of changed everything in the NBA.
Yeah.
And if I may say so, just to be self-indulgent, it also, in my opinion, is the day that my entire career and life trajectory changed, because with some pushing from you behind the scenes to the bosses, I was filling in for you. I didn't really have a spot on the network. I was here. I didn't really have a home, so to speak. And you advocated that I get to fill in for you when you were on summer vacation. And then 5 minutes before we went on the air that day, the biggest story in the world breaks. The other network's in tennis all day. And there were a lot of eyeballs on me. And I was a 31-year-old kid who had done probably 45 total minutes of live national television prior to that day. And, I think it went well. And I think that set the course for everything that's happened since then, to where now, as you say, I'm on a show with no budget, live in New York City. My wife owns a boutique here. Life's good. And none of it happens without you supporting me, Colin. And it changed my entire life. And I love you so much, brother.
All right. Don't get me emotional. Love you, brother. All right.
See you, Colin.
4th of July. It's all true. Mostly he's really talented. That's the most true part of that story. And good for him. Yeah, that was 2016. Caught us off. That goes down on a short list of craziest moments in sports. Kevin Durant's going to the Warriors. In fact, you could tell it was going to be good because everybody was furious. The whole league is like, that's like Burrow joining the Chiefs and being the backup. This is outrageous. But my takeaway was, there's only one basketball. This is going to be crazy. It's going to be like an Olympic team. That's wrong. It worked perfectly. It worked perfectly for a lot of reasons, one of which is Katie's amazing. The other one is Steph pulled back, gave Katie the floor in big spots, and it worked. And it would still be working if they were together. Katie decided to go elsewhere. So anyway, nice story by Nick. He's a wonderful guy. And if I've been a little part of his life, I feel great about that.